Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question's to the Prime Minister. What advice did he receive from the most recent food bank he visited about the current cost of living?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, I received advice about the current cost of living from a range of sources, but primarily actually from Statistics New Zealand, whose food price index last week showed that over the last 6 months, food prices on average have gone up only 0.9%. In terms of advice about those presenting at food banks, I receive information from the Minister of Social Development, who visits food banks regularly and even worked in one very recently. She advises that people use food banks for a range of reasons, with a major reason being a loss of employment.
The Honourable Annette,
Mr Speaker. Which food bank did he visit recently, if he did visit one, and what date was that visit?
The Right Honourable Prime
Mr.
Minister.
Speaker, I haven't been to one recently.
The Honourable Annette King.
Have any organisers of food banks told him that the reason for the 30% increase in people in work receiving food parcels is because they are making poor life choices? Or is it because the cost of living has risen faster than their wages?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, I can't recall a direct conversation with a food bank organiser, and therefore I can't characterise either. I've met people who run social services, who run food banks, but I'm not sure I'd say they are absolutely the food bank organiser.
The Honourable Annette King.
Mr Speaker. Has he now watched the Campbell Live story that I raised in a question to him last week, or has he read the comments made about the rising cost of living and how it's affecting people like Anya, who says we are getting more and more worried about how we can manage with the rising cost of living? She works part-time, her husband full-time for $48,000 a year. Her wages cover childcare with about $30 a week to spare. She says it would only take a car repair bill or a dentist bill to cause real problems. And why hasn't the tax switch cushioned her family from the harsh financial pressures they face?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, no, I haven't seen the TV programme. I go back to the point I made earlier. Actually, Stats New Zealand advised that the food price index has gone up 0.9% for the last 6 months. Actually, if one was to contrast that with Labour's last 6 months in office, it went up between 6 and 7%. I think they call that about 8 or 9 times more. But interestingly enough, this is quite a fascinating fact, I think, for the House. Over the last 6 months, vegetables have actually gone down 15%. One could argue there's no need to take GST off vegetables. It's already happened.
The Honourable Annette King.
It's a laughing matter to the Prime Minister. Laughing matter.
I apologise. Order. Now the House will come to order. That is, if no members want an early shower, the House will come to order. The Honourable Annette King.
Supplementary question, Mr Speaker. If the tax switch has worked as he keeps asserting, why is there a growing number of commentators, including Fran O'Sullivan and John Johansson, saying it hasn't worked? There was $1 billion gamble and the government's economic management is failing.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Because I take the advice of the Treasury over John Johansson.
Question number 7, Jackie Dean.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister for the Environment and asks, what practical initiatives is the government taking in preparation for Rugby World Cup 2011?